if you don't know where you're starting and you don't really fully unpack what does success look like, then you don't know how to measure it and who to involve along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Stop and pause and figure out where the heck are you on your journey and what it is that you're trying to accomplish inside your culture.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Optimal Instinct with Trish. I am Trish Tagley, a business efficiency expert that helps you get your clients to stay longer, pay more, and refer often. I get you to an action plan in 1 day instead of 90 to 120 days. How much is your time? Today, our guest is Shelley D. Smith. Shelley is a best-selling author, senior consultant, and analyst with Predictive Index, and founder and CEO of the consulting firm Rapport. Her experience over the past 35 plus years has earned her a reputation as the creator of the culture inquiry in businesses all along the East Coast and beyond. Her success stems from the strength of her personal approach, asking tough questions to hone in on the pain points and areas of growth and opportunity. Her focus is around people, talent, and culture optimization. Shelley is a highly sought-after speaker and business culture inquiry consultant. The most recent of her 5 published books, titled How to Avoid Culture Big Fat Failures, BFF, has rattled and disrupted corporate America in a highly effective manner. Her culture approach includes 4 phases: inquiry, analysis, creation, and curation. Numerous C-suite executives have tapped Shelley for her sharp insight and professional recommendations to shape the culture they've envisioned, increase profitability, decrease employee turnover, and retain top talent. Companies of all sizes are taking note of Shelley's ability to put out fires as well as cultivate a company culture which is more fire-resistant moving forward. The Rapport consulting firm delivers authentic, focused, actionable, and measurable results in a timely fashion, with an emphasis on long-term solutions and total talent and culture optimization. Welcome, Shelley.
Thank you so much, Trish. I appreciate being here today and you having me on.
Thank you for being on the show. So let's get to the questions.
Yes.
What is or are the problems that you solve?
Absolutely. Everything I solve is around workplace culture.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you are a perceived hot mess, in the toxic zone, somewhere in the middle, or more frequently, the company who's looking to continue level up to create greater succession planning, employee engagement, satisfaction, that holy grail of retention.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to solve that problem?
They do it in a vacuum. They go off in a retreat, their annual retreat, and they talk about this or that. They come up with some strategies, and they think they've solved it, fixed it, come up with the strategy, the objective, the tactics, all right there. And they forget to go through and really analyze where they're at. So the biggest problem is doing it in a vacuum, not doing it fully with intentions, analyzing it in order to curate it and in order to create it.
Yeah, and like your bio mentioned, you need to ask the tough questions. A lot of people, especially if they're in a vacuum, they don't ask themselves the tough questions because they're going to have to come up with the answers that, let's admit it, not everybody is as industrious or conscientious about their work. So they don't, like I said, they don't ask the tough questions that need to be asked. So I'm with you on that. When you do that type of work in a vacuum, then there can be some issues that you're not really addressing.
Exactly.
Right? So based on the mistakes that you just mentioned, what is a tip that you can give to a leader or stakeholder?
Well, there's a few angles, but I'm going to start with the analysis phase.
Mm-hmm.
The first tip is you've got to understand what is it you're trying to improve?
Mm-hmm.
How do you measure it? Where are you now? And then what's the performance of the process to kind of go at it? Who and what do you need to include from a collaborative standpoint? And then the accountability, the timelines, and the tactics come in. For me, it's a system that I created years ago. It's called Impact Leadership. And that was actually what I just, kind of listed from the intention piece. But if you don't know where you're starting and you don't really fully unpack what does success look like, then you don't know how to measure it and who to involve along the way. So tip number one is stop and pause and figure out where the heck are you on your journey and what it is that you're trying to accomplish inside your culture.
A lot of times, do you find that the people that you work with, they're sort of, in a bit of a clique? And, like I said, they kind of dance around things that you've talked about.
Yeah, they're not self-aware is what I would say. Or they started off with a vision and they've not lived that vision. They've lost sight of what right looks like inside of their company culture. So, one of the things that I do with many of my clients is help them create a culture playbook that is very different from an HR manual. It's not a rule and regulation. The playbook helps define what does right look like. And it draws the guardrails up, the boundaries up. I love metaphors, so any metaphor you can think of, but it helps you stay very focused on what right looks like and what it doesn't look like. And so a lot of times, if you just begin with a self-awareness of what it is you think you're measuring or how you're delivering, and then you lean into that and you start to ask, and you have to have courage in order to ask your team,
yes,
what do they see when you talk about, teamwork, or if innovation is a key word inside of your mission, vision, values, you've got to lean into that, because the worst thing that we can do is to think that we're doing something and the reality is we aren't. And we're too afraid to ask the question because we're too afraid of the answer.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times too, I think that people don't want to ask the question because they don't want to say, I don't know themselves.
Correct. It's that vulnerability that we have, and leaders, we've been taught we're supposed to know the answers. Just like as a parent, you're supposed to know the answers. The reality is the best thing you can do is be humble and say, great question. I don't know that answer. Let's figure it out together, or let's go find what some of the answers are together. And, we have to flip what it is that we have been taught or known or read previously on what a good leader is. And really good leaders are ones that are open and vulnerable and that set their ego aside for the betterment of the big picture. And initially, I'm telling on my age here, that's not what I was, originally taught. It's that you suck it up, you figure it out, and you don't let people see you sweat. Well, that makes us inhuman, unapproachable, not trusted, not empathetic, non-collaborative, egotistical, and all those.
All those things.
All those things. So.
And also, I think what happens is people start to get promoted into incompetence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. One of the best things that I was told by a really great mentor years ago was when I was working for Marriott in my early years, he said, whatever you do throughout your life, take what you love from the people who are your supervisors, and also make note of the things that you don't like about what it is they did or do, because that will help you remain focused on, again, he didn't call it that. His name was Bob Coulter. He didn't call it what does right look like, but that's what he was saying, is that, take the good, toss away the bad, but remember what it was and remember how it made you feel. And in order to remain connected, people have stopped communicating in intentional ways now. And I think that's kind of added to a negative contagion instead of a positive contagion of what does a good leader do and what is it they don't do. And to your point, then you get promoted and you think all of the actions that got you there are going to keep you there, and you forget to be able to trigger, pivot. I call it setting yourself on the shelf in order to, kind of go to others' needs.
That's fantastic. Okay. So is there a free resource that you'd like to share with us and with our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who goes to my main website, premierrapport.com, you're going to see all kinds of freebies up there, but I would love to be able to give you guys the white paper. So it's a white paper on helping you with employee engagement. So I've got a lot of the systems, the tips, and the resources inside of there. But if you grab it from the website instead of the link that you're listening to today, there's some other freebies and other white papers and resources on there as well.
Great. So I'll make sure that's in the show notes so that people will have access to that.
Beautiful.
And the last question, what should I have asked you today that I did not?
Wow. That's always a tough one to answer. I think probably it's the fact that, people still ask, is this whole thing about workplace culture going to go away? And I think, now if people are listening to this in real time, or if it's after our COVID-19, is that now more than ever, workplace culture is important. It's always been important. I'm known, my mantra is that, culture isn't built in a day, it's built every day.
Yes.
Right now, it's even more important. What is your culture? What does right look like? So I guess there's not really a question in that, in more so of a comment when people ask me, should I just put all this work about culture on pause? I say, oh my God, lean in and lean in hard right now.
Yeah.
Because when we come out of whatever the new normal is, the companies who have treated their employees right are going to not just survive, not just become stable, but they're going to thrive.
Yes,
and the ones that did not are going to be hurting more than when they were ever hurting. And I'm talking, including some giants that are out there.
Yes.
So I would say the question is, should people set this aside? And my answer is absolutely not. Lean in now. Lean in harder than you ever have.
Yeah, I think now is the time to start getting people used to a better culture. So then when they go back and they're like, is this going to continue? And they feel that it does, it motivates them even more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it will build more trust and more shared purpose in order to do that. And you just said something really key. I hope companies are marking down and listening to the things that they're doing that's better now, and that they do bring that forward and kind of, again, let go of what wasn't working and bring forward all of those great things that you're now putting in place to help build your shared purpose. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, great. Thank you so much, Shelley. It was so great to have you on in this time of COVID.
Yeah, craziness.
This is going to mark this podcast as to when it was recorded.
There you go. People will know. They'll know. They'll say, what was I doing? I was sitting in my house.
Yeah, exactly. It might make it more memorable, though.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. So thank you again so much, and hopefully we'll have you back again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us on Optimal Instinct with Trish. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, head on over to iTunes, subscribe, and if you really enjoy the content, leave us a well-appreciated review. If you are looking to create an environment that partners your desire for more profitable, more productive, and greater referability in client relationships, combined with sustained team morale, then I suggest you head over to clientvaluedemo.com to learn more about the C's value model. Talk soon.